put you in.
Cut the line rugby, Paul Stubbs here. We are living in the... I am alongside my brother, Mkhululi Duncan Stubbs, and we are talking about the Rugby World Cup weekend just gone by. Japan overcame Ireland. I thought that Ireland looked extremely passive in that loss. Do you think that Ireland are still going to finish top of their group?
I certainly hope not.
Do you think that we can beat them in a quarterfinal?
I think that we can beat them in a quarterfinal, but I think that
Do you think that we should beat them in a quarterfinal?
What does should mean? I mean,
do you feel confident that we will beat them in a quarterfinal?
I don't feel confident we'll beat anyone in a quarterfinal.
Wow, that's strong, yeah.
But I think I'd be more confident that we beat Japan than that we beat Ireland in a quarterfinal.
But I mean, Japan need to win 2 more matches to make that happen.
Yeah, they've got to beat Samoa and Scotland. The problem for Ireland is that they need Johnny Sexton.
Exactly.
And Johnny Sexton is not there at least 50-60% of the time. Remember what happened in the 2015 World Cup when Ireland got knocked out by Argentina in the quarterfinals because Johnny Sexton was injured just before that quarterfinal, and then Argentina outplayed them. And afterwards, I think it was David Nucifora, who's that Australian former coach, who's like their performance coach in Ireland now. He said after that 2015 World Cup, I promise next World Cup we'll never have a situation where we're this dependent on Johnny Sexton again. And so here we are, as dependent on Johnny Sexton again.
Which is crazy.
Nothing has changed.
Let's talk about the Boks. Do you think anybody knocked on the door to be included in that quarterfinal team, whoever we may play against?
It's hard for anyone to play well enough against Namibia to justify a place in the team for the next week. But if the question is, do I think that there are any players in that team that should be starting? The answer is yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's a somewhat sheepish yes, yeah.
It was sheepish?
Well, honestly, I think Frans Steyn should be starting.
Steyn? Starting what number?
Well, that's a good question. I would probably put him in at 12, but 15, I suppose he can still play there.
So 12, Damien out. Damien off the bench then as well. And then you have Elton on the bench.
Maybe Elton on the bench, yeah.
Do you think Rassie will do that?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I think Nick Mellett said something like that yesterday. And it makes sense to me strategically. He's probably not going to drop Damien. But in that case, then let's look at Willie Leroux. You know, I mean, all of the statements I make are with respect.
If you want to win a World Cup final, Frans Steyn should be starting the match. That's my feeling on it. It would be nice to bring him off the bench, have that security, have somebody that's able to take the kicks at posts.
You could play Steyn at 15, or you could play the young dynamo, Cheslin Colby.
Jesus. And you have Cheslin Colby, Sabu Nkosi, and Mapimpi in the back three. And then on the bench you have Jesse Krill cover. And either have Frans Steyn sitting on your bench or Elton Jantji sitting on your bench.
Yeah.
I mean, it's savage in my eyes.
Sure. Except, obviously, Mapimpi is not my favorite player, but outside of that, yes, I'm with you.
All right. But Mapimpi is definitely playing. He seems to be a 100% guaranteed player. I mean, there's no game that he's missed.
Yes. I just wish for the days of Apiwe, actually, because we wouldn't have this issue.
How do you feel about the Springboks' chances of winning the World Cup? In the context of what's happened this weekend, Japan beating Ireland, Australia running close with Wales, neither of them looking particularly fresh, and the Springboks trouncing Namibia.
Well, I think we still have a chance of winning the World Cup, yes, absolutely. I've always thought that England is probably the most likely team to win the World Cup.
Really?
The way that World Cups usually work out, you know, that New Zealand's the favourite, yes, obviously they're, you know, in the pound seats, but the way things usually work out, I've always felt like England would end up pipping them at the post, so to speak.
Yeah.
They've got a great, talented side. They've got a multinational side where they've got, you know, all the best from different countries. And
side digs.
Yeah, and no, well, I mean, just truth. And then at the head coach level, they've also got, you know, like intellectual capital from all around the world. Next favourite were New Zealand. I would say England, then New Zealand, then South Africa. I still back us to have a genuine shot at winning. We mustn't underestimate how good New Zealand were on that day.
But I still think that we could beat New Zealand on another day.
Yes.
I think we have that capacity. That's why I think that we have a possibility of winning this World Cup, because every team that we play, we have a possibility of beating.
We could have beaten New Zealand on that day.
Yeah.
If Pollard had, well, you know, I feel bad about mentioning guys who specifically made errors and that sort of thing.
This is what it's all about. Hey, it's the World Cup. When you make errors, you drop out of the World Cup.
Unfortunately, yeah. You know, Pollard did not have his best day.
No.
Faf didn't have his best day. Yeah.
But Faf is at the heart and soul of this team.
Yes.
When he is, he's definitely going to play in any knockout match. So because the way he defends and the way he attacks.
I think that point that you make, Rassie's whole strategy speaks to the fact that Faf is the most important player in our team, because I think Faf had 49 carries in the game. You compare that to Willie's 29, 30 carries. And then you compare that to Andre Pollard, who's got 20 carries in a game. And that's not accidental.
Yeah.
It's obviously a deliberate strategy. And so the point is, Faf has the ball the most times because Rassie wants Faf to be the biggest decision maker.
Yeah.
And that means that Faf is critical to whether we win or lose, whether we like that or not.
Think about when we had Ross Grenier starting for the Springboks, which was not more than 2 or 3 years
I don't
ago.
really want to think about it, but yes.
We're going into the World Cup thinking Ross Grenier is going to be our starting scrum half.
Yeah.
Now we've got a situation where we've got Faf, Herschel, and Kobus Reinach, 3 guys you can believe in. I mean, it's amazing to me.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful situation, yeah.
We continue to play a conservative brand where Lukhanyo never ever touches the ball essentially at outside centre. Is Elton Jantjies a player worth bringing off of a bench?
But he showed that he can be, at the very least, last year when we played the All Blacks in New Zealand.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
it was working when he was coming on and closing out matches.
Suddenly a new dimension is added to our game where we once had a direct and conservative game plan. When Elton comes on, suddenly there's a shift. And as the other team is getting tired, the ball can start going wide. I mean, it was something that was visibly effective last year. On the issue of whether you choose Steyn or DDA, Damien Dialendi, I don't know that a Frans Steyn isn't going to be better than a Damien Dialendi in a World Cup final situation where the question is, what do my instincts tell me versus what does Rassie say that I'm supposed to do in this situation?
Yeah.
Frans Steyn knows and thinks of himself as a winner. He doesn't question that about himself.
Exactly, yes. Yeah.
He just does it. In that moment, he feels it, and then he goes. I don't think that he'll hesitate to do what he feels is necessary to do without thinking twice about it.
Damien was good.
It's not more than just good.
Yeah. Damien hit the scene with the ball in both hands, running upright, taking players on with steps. He had the weight, he had the size, he was getting his hands through tackles. That's how he made the Springboks.
Steps off both feet, passes equally well in both hands, off both hands, left or right. Remember what Steve Hansen said for all the people who want to say that Damien was never good. He said, they've got in Damien someone who will be the best in the world soon. Look at him, he can step off both feet, he's a big unit. Yes, in Damien Dialende they have a future best in the world. It's sad that he's not fulfilled his potential.
So World Cup final starts, and Willie starting 15, 5 minutes in. Off the fields, on comes Jesse Kriel. Happy with that? No, Cheslin's going to the back, Jesse's going to the wing. Next up, Italy, then Canada. Italy, our last real chance to have strong resistance.
This is the last real game before the quarterfinals, which, like it or not, may be our last game of the World Cup.
I don't like it, but I recognize it. The way that Ireland capitulated against Japan, they won't play like that against us, and they have a game plan that will very much be the bane of our existence. We will struggle to cope with the structure of Ireland, and they will play much better than they played against Japan, and they have every chance of beating us should we play them. Scotland, obviously we should beat them, but Scotland have every chance of beating us in a knockout match as well. The positive side of our rugby is that we can beat New Zealand and anybody else, but we can also lose to Ireland, Wales, England, New Zealand. Ireland, Wales, England, New Zealand, anybody else?
Australia, you didn't mention, did you?
Australia, yeah,
France,
exactly.
Definitely can lose to France still.
Yeah, we could definitely lose to France.
But you did say Italy.
Italy's beaten us before.
Becoming a long list
Yes,
now,
exactly, yeah. So, listen, there's no guarantees, but I suppose that's what makes the World Cup exciting, man. What really worries me about Mapimpi is what happened to him when Siva Rees goose-stepped him on the outside.
Yeah.
Percentage-wise, his numbers are outstanding. He makes the tackles. But in terms of rugby brain and nous, Sabu has that fight. Sabu is making that tackle. He's recognizing that's the goose-step space that I've left for him here. I'm attacking this guy here when he's got the whole field around him.
Yeah.
Known as a savage for pace.
Yeah.
We cannot afford anything of that sort when it comes to knockout rugby.
Yeah.
The problem with is that he doesn't play because we don't pass to him.
He doesn't play on
Therefore,
attack.
he tackles.
Yeah. But don't underrate his defensive.
No, listen, yes, yeah. And that's,
unbelievable.
The Boks are coming for Italy up next, and then Canada, then we're going on to the knockouts, and then it's time for the real deal. Real deal.